What is up, YouTube or whoever? This is Brain Candy, and let's have a conversation. I'm going to say stuff to you, and then you can say stuff to me in the comment section, and I will write back to you. It's not going to be like a two-way conversation because, of course, it's a video, but you probably already know that. Okay, well, let's get on with it. The reason why I'm having this video is because I'm kind of just done with the whole YouTube versus Twitch conversation. And why I'm done with it is because I don't really believe there is a YouTube versus Twitch. In fact, I think it's one of the things about it is I really don't care if there was a YouTube versus Twitch thing. I don't really think there is. I think there is on a platform level, but not live streaming. It's the fact that there's all these streamers that weigh in on it, and they are supposed to be the best of the best or the highest watched people, but they just don't sound like they are looking at things as they should, and or they're using an outside perspective to look at their platforms, right? Just for the record, I am a YouTube streamer, right? I think I already said this before, is I don't really care where you stream. So this is not to be where you stream kind of deal. This is more like, well, you should probably look at things differently kind of deal. And don't believe me. Don't believe large streamers. Just go do your own research if you want. I'm not going to tell you that to believe what I'm saying. This is just honestly the way I see it, and kind of the way that I would look at it if I was a business person, right? Not a streamer or a content creator. So one thing that I really want to point out to you is YouTube versus Twitch doesn't really exist, I think, because there's really no comparison, right? Everybody thinks that, or everybody says that YouTube is trying to overcome Twitch and the live streaming. In fact, that brings me to the point where it spurred me on this whole conversation I'm having with you now is I heard XQC talk about it. And if he's watching this, you're a great Overwatch tank, by the way. I was a huge Overwatch fan back in the day. Not so much anymore, but back in the day, he was a great tank. However, I think you're wrong. I think XQC is wrong, and here's why. And I will leave a link to a video with what he says about YouTube versus Twitch or whatever, so you can go watch that directly if you'd like. But however, I will kind of just say it in my own words or say it in his words, but from what I remember, what spurred me to come up with this is when he said for YouTube to do something big and to overcome Twitch, they need to do something big, right? He said, you gotta do something big, right? They gotta buy offline TV or OKT or OTK, I don't know who they are, or whatever, for $1 billion. And that's the only way that YouTube will beat Twitch in this whole streaming war thing, I guess they think is going on. And here's why they're wrong. YouTube isn't just a streaming platform. It never has been. Anybody that ever tries to compare the streaming platform with YouTube, you're missing the big picture. In fact, I would say you have what I would call streamer brain. And what is streamer brain? Streamer brain is when you only know or only think live content is the only viable and or worthwhile content, and that there's only one streaming platform and you like to be there for 5 to 6 days out of the week. Now that doesn't necessarily mean Twitch, that means any of them. Streamer brain starts putting more work into just hitting broadcast than planning out and or having some kind of reason for going live. Now, I say that because I was like that once. So I put myself in that category. And it took me being burnt out on Twitch to come to YouTube to finally start to look at things and see things differently. It took me doing a lot of soul searching. So let's talk about what the difference is between Twitch and YouTube on just the what they are level, right? Twitch is the number one streaming site in the world, right? Number one streaming site. YouTube is the biggest content platform in the world. And why I say it like that is because Twitch just streams. That's it. They have some offline content. People watch. Nobody gets credit for it if they do. It does them no good. And why is that? Because Twitch puts its ad revenue on live streams. And live streams are harder to put ad revenue on because you don't know how long they're going to be live and you don't know what the person's going to say or what the person's going to do. Okay? Versus YouTube. YouTube has VODs, has streams, has short videos, right? Shorts, just like TikTok. And here's the thing about it is even when you do stream on YouTube and that's it, once you quit that stream, it still has a life. It still can get viewed. In fact, it can still get you subscribers. And in fact, it can actually still make you money on YouTube. So there's a huge difference because they're not the same thing. In fact, one reason alone is why YouTube is actually, I would say, better to be on than Twitch. And you hear it from time to time again when people switch over from Twitch to YouTube. They did it because they didn't have to stream all the time, right? They got more time to themselves and they had a chance to make better content. And why is that is because on Twitch, you feel like you have the need to go live every single day and really rarely ever leaves you the opportunity to plan stuff out. I mean, you can plan stuff out, but never usually do I see anything that is high or quality or content than YouTube. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like people on YouTube work a little bit harder for their views. Just saying. Or not. Some kid is making lots of money off of just opening up toys. And that shit alone should just show you the difference between YouTube and Twitch. So YouTube versus Twitch is not a real thing because YouTube is bigger than Twitch. A lot bigger. Let's go over some comparisons, shall we? Okay. YouTube has over 2 billion monthly active users. This year, Twitch had 2.84 million concurrent viewers. Total hours of video watched on YouTube each month is 3.25 billion. Twitch hours watched last year was 18.6 billion hours. Now that'll probably bounce up this year because I think that they actually saw an increase, so it's going to be a little bit higher than that. However, let's take 3.25 and times that, because it's monthly, right, by 12. You're getting way above 18.6. Let's just round it to just 3 billion, right? 3 billion times 12 is what? 12, 24, 36, right? It's 36 billion. 36 billion hours watched. I mean, I think that math's right. If it's not right, please put it in the comments below and don't be mean. YouTube generated 19.7 billion in revenue. Twitch had and revenue in 2020 was 2.3 billion. YouTube is owned by Google. Twitch is owned by Amazon. Google is the #1 search engine in the world by a lot. And the #2 one is actually YouTube. YouTube is the #2 search engine. 42.9% of the online global population are YouTube monthly active users. Now, when I say YouTube is a giant compared to Twitch, it's documented. It's factual. YouTube is huge compared to Twitch. YouTube, as it started putting into live streaming, just because they see that there is some potential to grow off there. And they're not wrong. There's really, when you think about it, right? Twitch is a lot like Blockbuster. And I've used this reference a lot before, and I just kind of want to tell you how and what that means. Twitch only does live streaming. And the only time they ever made any kind of upgrades to their platform recently, it's all been cosmetic, right? It's been animated emojis and or whatever it is, and badges and whatever. When that is not always going to be enough for someone to want to stick around a platform, right? Especially when YouTube is talking about doing the same thing, working on the same thing. When you think about it, Blockbuster only wanted to rent videos to people out of their store. And when other people said, hey, I've got this new way of making business, Netflix, and it could be huge. And Blockbuster laughed them out of the room because they had all the money and they didn't think anybody could ever affect them, right? But they stuck to their business model of renting DVDs and VHSs from their store. And then, of course, we all know that this Netflix came around with their mail-in. First, they mailed videos to you, and then they made it to you, stream it to your house. Now, there's one Blockbuster left, I believe. I don't know if they shut that one down or not, but I saw a really cool documentary on it. However, I believe Blockbuster's got one store left and is dead as a company. Because they did one thing. Because they were the kings of video rentals. And when Netflix came around and said, hey, you want to buy this? And this is what we're doing. They said, no, they left them out of the room. Netflix is huge now. And it's massive. Nobody says you want to get Blockbuster and chill, because that was way before they died, way before that was a thing, right? YouTube doesn't just do live streaming. They upload VODs. They have shorts. Like I said, they have all this stuff, and they work on more stuff all the time. That's what is good about YouTube. If you want to stream something, and you might have to make a thumbnail. Until you use Canva, it's gonna work. It works really well, honestly. But you want to stream somewhere that when you're done streaming, the next couple of days it constantly gets the views, and that helps you out. The view time and the watch time helps you. Then you're gonna want YouTube or maybe Facebook. I'm not sure how Facebook works, but I've heard it's kind of like that. I did stream there once, but they cut all my curse words out, and so I was like, maybe I shouldn't be on this platform if they don't like my cursing. I don't curse all the time, guys, but it was competition, and it was Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and I was heated. That's why there's really no competition. Twitch would really have to become a major player in content creation, not just live streaming, to be even considered a threat to YouTube. And they have only one thing going for them, is streaming. Let's look at it this way. Not even that. Google and YouTube are the number one places people go to watch any videos or look at anything, right? There's more people who own YouTube apps than there are that own Twitch apps. I guarantee it. YouTube is inferior to live streaming to Twitch. It's not. It doesn't really care. I don't care. Nobody cares. YouTube doesn't need to be better than Twitch. It already is. Twitch is just one thing. A small little thing. And if people get tired of it, it will be a small little thing that nobody will watch anymore. Not saying that'll ever happen, but I could see a possible future where Twitch is a lot smaller than it is now. Thank you guys so much. If any of you are so angry you want to throw vegetables or fruit at me when you see me, that's understandable. I want you to know, though, the reason why I even conversated about this and or put this out there is because not all the information you hear from big streamers or middle streamers or whatever is factual and or has any kind of concept to it. Honestly, it's not always most successful people that will give you the best information. The reason why I'm saying this is not to say any of them don't know what they're talking about, or their opinions don't matter. They have opinions and they're very successful people. What I'm saying is if you're going to compare Twitch to YouTube, you need to compare the whole thing. Compare Twitch versus YouTube as a platform and as content creation. If you can't hold a candle to YouTube when you go outside of the fact that live streams. And one last thing I'll leave you with when it comes down to the live streams, so that you say, well, that doesn't necessarily always happen. You're right, it doesn't always happen. I can upload a video, and I have, and had 5 or 6 people watch it. I can come back 2 or 3 days later and have over 100 people have viewed that video. Granted, that doesn't necessarily mean that those 100 people subscribed or want to watch my content again, but the difference is 100 people on YouTube went and watched my channel, and I had 100 possibilities of making connection. Do you have that on Twitch? All right, gamers. I'll see you later.